Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Skylar and I am so glad that you've joined me again on this journey towards nursing school. Today I just want to go over some tips and hints that could be helpful in the months prior to your program starting and even those first few weeks in the pre-nursing program, depending on whether you're going directly into a program or you're going through some pre-nursing prerequisites first. I also have a list of things in front of me, so if I'm looking down, that's why. So these are things that I wish I had known ahead of time, or I wish that maybe the programs would have told me a bit sooner than they did, and I really think it'll be helpful for you guys to know these things before they come forward about it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was costs and finances. Your admittance into the school and even just like making a payment to the program is not going to be all the money you have to pay. You have to pay for your drug tests, your background checks, a lot of different online programs that your school might use. Like Liberty used Shadow Health and what's it called, SurePath, and a lot of other online programs, and you do have to pay for those as well. Of course, there's the cost of the books, cost of uniforms, cost of some basic supplies like stethoscope, pen light, etc. And again, this does kind of depend on the school that you're going to, but most of them are going to have a lot of additional costs that you're going to have to factor in. It's not just a one and done, and it's not just you paying for your university or paying for your community college. There's a lot of additional funds involved with nursing school. So that's something you can kind of plan ahead for if you want to pick up a few extra shifts this summer. Probably a good idea. Another thing I want to touch on are different certifications you might need prior to your program starting. And of course, they will tell you these things, but they might tell them a little close to the due date, and it's nice to know ahead of time. So you're going to want to look into if your program wants you to be CNA certified or nurse aide certified. Same thing. So when I went to Liberty, this was not a prerequisite, but for the schools I'm going to here, or the schools I looked into in North Carolina, just about all of them require that I am certified as a CNA. So this is something that you're going to have to do depending on the school you're in. And it's really nice to know ahead of time because you have to sign up for a class, an in-person or online course. You have to go learn the skills. It takes a lot of study, and then you have to test both written and skills. One thing it is helpful to know about the CNA certification process is that there are waivers for skipping the in-person class portion. So because I was in a nursing program previously, I was actually able to get a waiver submitted, so I didn't have to go to a CNA course. I was just able to use online prep material and go directly and take the class. I believe I got that waiver through Credentia, and I studied for my CNA tests on CNA Plus and passed both the skills and the written on the first time. So I highly recommend those programs. Of course, if you don't have any experience or anything that would, be equal to a waiver, definitely take the course because it's a lot to remember and it really helps to see it done in person. Additionally, CPR certifications, I kind of touched on this in the intro video. Some programs require different facilities to be the ones that issue the CPR certification. I know some schools that require Red Cross. I know the school I'm going to requires American Heart Association. So even if you're certified, it may not be eligible for the school you're going to. So look into the kind of certification they accept, and you might have to adjust accordingly. This is something I cannot stress enough, and it's summer classes. Nursing school is already really stressful, really hectic, and really busy, and you're going to have a lot of prerequisites to get done first. If you can, do those online during the summer. It's so nice to be able just to focus on nursing classes when you get to your in-person semester, and it's also nice being able to just focus on the prerequisites if you take them in the summer. You're not worrying about nursing classes or pushing them aside because you have more important classes, and then when the fall or springtime comes, you're not trying to cram in a bunch of extra busy work. So it also helps to take it through a community college if you can. I took most of my online summer classes through Liberty, which I loved, and Liberty is amazing, but it's very expensive. So this summer I have 2 more classes I have to get done for Lenore Ryan's program, and I'm taking them through Gaston College. Even though I wanted to do Liberty because I'm comfortable with the formatting of their Canvas, it was really helpful for my wallet to pay a lot less for the same education, if that makes sense. So if you can, try to get any superfluous classes done in the summer or online so you don't have to worry about it when you're juggling your nursing schedule and your clinical schedule. Another thing I want to touch on are resources and books. I know a lot of students that didn't buy the books ahead of time and then panicked once nursing school hit. I know other ones that tried to make it through without the books, and some of them did fine and other ones really regretted it. I recommend going ahead and getting all the books and resources that your program recommends. If you don't use them, cool, you can return them afterwards. But it's really nice to have them all in case you need them. especially since a lot of the material is repeated throughout your course. And for sources for papers, you need reliable medical sources that are scholarly and peer-reviewed. You've got them right there in your textbooks, and that can save you a lot of time when looking for resources. So I highly recommend purchasing all the books that your program asks you to get, because it'll help you down the road. And if you don't need them, you can always return them. Uniforms. This is something your program will probably tell you ahead of time, is to buy multiple scrub tops, multiple pants. If they don't, make sure you do that, because you are going into the nursing setting, the medical setting, a hospital setting, and it's not always clean and nice and neat. You're gonna get some stuff on you, and it'll be nice that you don't have to go home each night when you have another 6 a.m. clinical and do laundry. If you have multiple tops and multiple bottoms, you'll be able to get a bit extra sleep and not have to worry about, doing laundry as soon as you get back from the hospital so that you're ready for the next day. Trust me, you're gonna wanna get multiple tops and multiple bottoms, even if your program doesn't specify that. Something you can also remember, like the last month or so before getting into your program, is that they might have rules regarding hair and nails. I think just about every nursing school is going to discourage or even forbid acrylics or false nails because of the bacteria that accumulates underneath. So don't waste your time going and get a nice manicure a week before you go into the clinical or lab setting. Also, a lot of programs have stipulations on hair, such as no unnatural colors, so don't waste your time and money going and getting beautiful color put in if you're just going to have it bleached or washed out within the next week or so. It'll save you your time and money. I did want to touch on a few things for early program or pre-nursing acceptance, whether you're taking like your prerequisite semester or you're in your first semester of the nursing program. Since it's going to look a little bit different for me as I'm going directly into junior year this fall, I want to touch on some of this stuff now in case it'll help you when you get to that point. Be aware when you go into your first semester pre-nursing that your application for your official program is going to come up a lot faster than you realize. When I went to Liberty, I started my classes in August, and I think it was by December I had an answer by the nursing school. Your mind's going to want to tell you it's not going to happen like next semester, but it comes up really fast. So just be aware of the timelines. You can get any letters of recommendation you need, that you can get your paperwork done so that you're not stressed, because you already have enough to stress about. All right. Also, something that goes along with that is contingent acceptances. For my program at Liberty, and I'm assuming a lot of other schools, your nursing program acceptance is contingent on grades of classes that you're currently in. For Liberty, it was pathophysiology, and we would be in that class when we applied to the nursing program, and acceptances that we got would be contingent on whether or not we passed that with a certain grade or more. For us, it was C or higher. So just be aware, even if you're accepted, don't sleep through the rest of your semester. You still have to get good grades so that you can keep that acceptance. And if you're waitlisted, don't lose hope, because there's a lot of reasons people drop their acceptances they get or are forced to drop because they didn't meet the minimum grade requirement for a class they were already in. Another thing that I wanted to mention is get a circle of nursing students. It's wonderful to have family, friends, and a support system that exists outside of nursing who may not be nursing. They still love you, they still want you to do well, and they can encourage and support you, but they can't really understand. They can sympathize, but they can't empathize. I encourage you strongly to get a good group of people within your program. Not only are you guys going to understand what you're all going through, but you can go through it together. You can study together, you can quiz each other, and it's just going to make your process a lot more enjoyable and a lot easier. So again, I'm not telling you to dump all of your friends that exist outside of nursing, but it's a really good idea to make some strong connections within your major. The last thing I wanted to touch on just for this video, because it's already getting a little long, is be aware of the HIPAA violations and really how strict it is. I'm pretty sure every program will prep you about this or inform you about this, but be really careful with what you're posting. Some people have gotten dropped from their programs from posting a selfie in the hospital on their first day of clinicals just because of what could be seen in the background, and they weren't trying to violate anyone's privacy. So just be really careful with social media or what you say to people when you're beginning this journey. A lot of things can be violating of privacy and can get you in big trouble. So just think twice about what you're doing, and if it's a risk and you're not really sure, just don't do it. It's not worth it. Alright, that's kind of all the tips and hints I had thought of today for this video. I might be a part 2 if I think of some other things. Something else I wanted to mention is that I'm not going to have a regular posting schedule because I'm working full-time and taking online classes right now, and I have a lot of things I'm getting together for my nursing program starting this fall. I think if there is a part 2, I'll kind of talk more about what goes on in these early months, like what am I waiting on doing, what comes next for me. So if you're in a similar stage, you can kind of compare and figure out what you're doing. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I hope this helps you. Bye, guys.